Tonight on News 10 at 11, ice jams caused some flooding and some evacuations around the region.
And the show that started it all, the British version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Coming up on weather, back to a quiet forecast for the next few days.
News 10 is next.
Etkin admits, Strawberry sits, and Hyder exits. Next.
It's 11 o'clock. News 10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elisa Streeter.
I'm Jim Brennan. Now, here are tonight's top 10 stories. A couple of dozen people evacuated their homes tonight on Canal Road in Half Moon. They were forced out after water filled the banks of the Mohawk River following an ice jam. Canal Road in Half Moon remains closed, along with a stretch of Rosendale Road in the town of Colony. We'll have more on this story coming up in just a few minutes.
A town constable from Paulet, Vermont, is in the Washington County Jail in New York tonight, charged with felony sodomy. 29-year-old Courtney Herrick is accused of sexual contact with a 10-year-old boy 2 years ago. He'll answer the charge in Village Court in Granville tomorrow night. Investigators say they've turned up other cases in Vermont, but he's not been charged there.
Former Capital Region OTB Chief Davis Etkin is free on $10,000 bond after pleading guilty to 2 felonies. The 72-year-old Etkin admitted trying to get a witness in a grand jury investigation of him to lie, and also to diverting OTB assets to himself and others. Etkin has a restitution hearing March 24th with sentencing to follow. The maximum is 11 years in prison.
On the eve of primaries in Virginia and Washington State, John McCain and George W. Bush did some long-distance sniping. In Virginia, McCain blasted the religious right, calling Pat Robertson and Jerry Falwell agents of intolerance. Out in Washington State, Bush accused McCain of playing to people's religious fears. As for Democrats, Bill Bradley knows a win in Washington will be tough, but he vows to fight on to Super Tuesday.
Southwest Airlines will begin service in Albany in May with a special, a $99 one-way ticket to the West Coast. And there are some conditions. It must be purchased before May 6th. It must be a round trip. The trip must be between May 7th and August 5th. And it must be on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Saturday. The Monday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday fares are $109.
The Albany Office of Immigration and Naturalization says it will deport the 30 illegal aliens arrested today. They were all employed by a New Jersey company and installing racks at the new Walmart distribution center in Johnstown. 18 of the aliens are Mexican. The others are from Costa Rica, Colombia, and Guatemala. Controversial
right-winger George Haider has resigned as head of Austria's Freedom Party. Haider has voiced strong anti-foreigner sentiments and has praised certain aspects of the Nazi era, and that drew condemnation from much of the rest of the world. He said his decision does not mean he's retiring from national politics. The U.S. State Department called Haider's departure a step in the right direction. Judges at a Yugoslav war crimes tribunal in the Netherlands have seen some haunting images. Pictures of inmates at a Bosnian prison camp emaciated with lifeless expressions. The Serb policeman who allegedly ran the camp went on trial before the UN court today. The court was set up with the goal of bringing to justice those who were responsible for atrocities in the Balkans. An administrative law judge in Catskill will decide tomorrow whether there are environmental issues surrounding the proposed generating plant in Athens that need further review, or if the matter should go to ENCON for final approval of certain permits. Those permits would involve the discharge of wastewater into the Hudson River and surrounding wetlands. Both opponents and supporters of the plant got a chance to be heard today at a public hearing. And the Yankees' Darryl Strawberry has been suspended from baseball again. 37-year-old Strawberry was set down today for 1 year for testing positive for cocaine. It is his 3rd suspension for drug use in the past 5 seasons. Dan Murphy will have more in sports a little later on. And now back to tonight's big story. Rising water along the Mohawk River has forced some homeowners to evacuate. And part of the reason is an ice jam near the Crescent Bridge in Half Moon. Steve Ammerman has the story.
About 20 people forced out of their homes near Krause's restaurant on Canal Road. The West Crescent Fire Department helping get them out, but not everyone was going, even though the power would shortly be cut off by Niagara Mohawk.
Yeah, they've all been advised of that. The 2 occupants have wood stoves for heat. They're adamant about staying.
For many who live along the Mohawk, this is a way of life.
It's fine, just like every couple of years it does this. The water rises because all the ice melts, and then we end up with this.
That ice has caused problems up and down the river. It's even climbing up the trees just west of the Route 9 bridge. By nightfall, worried residents downstream in Waterford came to check out the river's progress.
We had hotel rooms already, and...
Why'd you do that?
Well, I heard it was going to flood, and I didn't want to stay there. And Niagara Mohawk turns off the